Tonight, the great mishap at this year's Oscars. How was La La Land mistakenly named Best Picture? We've got the details.
Later, President Trump has announced an increase in military spending to make America safer. We'll fill you in.
Plus, anti-Semitism is growing in America as a Jewish cemetery in Philadelphia was vandalized. We have the rest of the story ahead.
Hello, welcome to the MCTV Weekly News Update. I'm Caroline Fiske.
And I'm Alexis O'Sullivan. Last night, the 89th Academy Awards took a turn for the unexpected when two major mistakes were made. The buzz of the internet has been the controversy of the Best Oscar Picture mix-up. This lesser-known mess-up was when a living person's photo was shown in place of a deceased person during the Oscar in memoriam. Costume designer Janet Patterson was one of the people listed. Yet her good friend Jan Chapman's likeness was used during the slideshow. Chapman was apparently very upset by the mess-up.
Earlier today, President Donald Trump released a statement saying that he would be increasing the cost of the United States military spending by $44 billion. This plan will increase the spending nearly 10% from what the cost currently is and will pull funds away from other branches of the government. President Trump says his plan is to make true on his Make America Safer policy that he campaigned with back in the 2016 election.
In a wave of anti-Semitic acts sweeping the country, yet another atrocity was committed early Monday. At a Jewish cemetery in Philadelphia, nearly 100 headstones had been knocked over and vandalized. The culprits had still not been found, but as said by White House spokesman Sean Spicer, the culprits are still being tracked down. This is one of many anti-Semitic acts that have occurred across the U.S. recently, including bomb threats made on Jewish community centers and in New York and 10 other states.
We've been experiencing a strange mix of weather here in the Hudson Valley. Here's Jillian McCarthy with what to expect for the coming week.
Temperatures seem to drop down with a high of 40 and a low of 21. This week we're looking at mostly cloudy skies and a few showers with temperatures in the mid-40s and 50s. First, here are some worldwide photos. This first one is from Portland, Oregon on Sunday, and as you can see there is snow which is continuing to fall in the higher elevations of the metro area and in the foothills of the Cascades and the Coast Range. It's even colder in the hills as the snow level is about 1,500 feet. The Cascades and Cascade foothills will likely get 0.75 inches of rain and 4 to 8 inches of snow. Over the weekend, the National Weather Service confirmed that a tornado touched down in a pair of western Massachusetts towns. The tornado hit the town of Gamache around 7:18 p.m. yesterday, where a couple of homes were damaged after several pine trees were snapped midway and fell on the structures. Winds were blowing at 80 to 100 miles per hour, and it took between 2 and 7 minutes for the E41 tornado to touch down with a vengeance. Now focusing on weather in our neck of the woods. For today's weather, we reached a high of 54 and a low of 35. The average for today was 42 and 20 degrees. Today's sunrise was at 6:33 a.m. and sunset was at 5:43 p.m. Tonight, we're looking at mostly cloudy skies with a low of 35 degrees and a 20% chance of precipitation with winds south at 4 miles per hour. Looking ahead for tomorrow, we're seeing some rain in the forecast with a low of 49 degrees. There is a 40% chance of precipitation with winds at 7 miles per hour. Now taking a look at the 7-day forecast. We're going to see plenty of mostly cloudy skies and even some rain and snowfall. Don't forget your umbrellas tomorrow, since we're anticipating a 40% chance of rain in the forecast. Wednesday, we're looking at scattered thunderstorms, and Thursday, we're getting some wind. We can expect Friday morning snow showers, but the rest of the weekend will be partly cloudy skies with temperatures in the 40s and 50s. I'm Jillian McCarthy, and that concludes our weather report for the week. Thank you.
SpaceX CEO Elon Musk has announced that it will fly 2 tourists around the moon next year. The travelers have placed a heft deposit on the trip, likely millions of dollars, and will be required to pass a fitness test before taking off from Cape Canaveral, Florida, and no humans have made a trip to the realm of space since the Apollo mission back in 1972. SpaceX says that this is not likely to be only a one-time trip, as many travelers have expressed strong interest in making this trip.
This weekend, Congress moved to expand drug testing of people seeking unemployment government benefits. This bill, now moving to a Senate vote, will undo limitations on which applicants for unemployment benefits can be drug tested. By dismissing the drug test policy during Obama's term, the Republican-led House has successfully pushed the plan in hopes to reverse blatant executive overreach to help qualified unemployed workers in their quest to find a new job. Many argue that these newly founded drug tests will end up wasting taxpayer dollars due to a redundancy of already in-place drug testing done by employers.
White House Press Secretary Sean Spicer recently checked his aides' government-issued and personal cell phones to make sure that they were not communicating with reporters. The move was part of an initiative to stop the recent wave of leaks steaming from the White House. Spicer was looking for apps like Signal and Confide, which allowed for encrypted texting. The use of either app is a violation of the Federal Records Act. Spicer was allegedly prompted to do this after being reported of an appointment by Dubke a week before the official announcement.
It has been difficult to trust the media lately with fake news and alternative facts, but a Ukraine talk show is trying to combat this issue. StopFake is run by a team of investigative journalists and discusses fake news and debunks it. Fake news has been a problem in Kiev longer than in Western Europe and the United States because of Ukraine's strained relationship with Russia. Back in 2014, some Russian satellite TV networks and websites used sympathetic news outlets in the Ukraine to spread stories such as the Ukrainian president appearing in public intoxicated or crucifying children who spoke Russian. Hopefully, the work of StopFake can inspire news outlets around the world to find lies and expose them.
Saturday, Muhammad Ali Jr., son of the world's famous boxer, and his mother ran into trouble with airport officials when returning to the United States from Jamaica. They were detained after telling officials they were Muslim. Ali's mother was released after showing officials a picture of her and her husband. Ali Jr. did not have any photos with him at the time, and as a result, he was questioned for 2 hours about his lineage and religion. The Alis have attributed to the detainment of racial profiling powered by the Trump administration and are considering for filing a federal lawsuit.
Going straight into sports, here's Andrea Fresley with your weekly sports update.
Hi, my name is Andrea Fresley and welcome to MCTV Sports. We are coming up on a very exciting time for college sports. College fans across the country will be eagerly waiting for the NCAA bracket for the 64-team field. Leading contenders for March Madness will be defending champions Villanova Wildcats, as well as national powers Kansas, Kentucky, Arizona, UCLA, and current #1 Gonzaga. I know we are all anxiously waiting to see what happens and excited for March Madness to begin. Well, we know the warm weather is fast approaching with the start of spring training for Major League Baseball in Florida and Arizona. In the NBA, the Golden State Warriors still continue to lead, and it is likely they will face the Cleveland Cavaliers for the NBA championship for the 3rd straight year. In golf, Ricky Fowler won the Honda Classic in Florida this week. It was Ricky's 4th PGA victory, but he's still searching for his first major victory. In Marist sports, we had a very exciting week. Our baseball team beat Miss State in a battle, but ultimately came up on top with a final score of 9-8. In other news, Marist College basketball lost to Siena over the weekend, 64-80. Women's basketball had a triumph victory over Manhattan with a final score of 81-76. Also, our men's lacrosse team won this Saturday at Binghamton Vestal with a final score of 11-8. Women's lacrosse won at Vermont Burlington with a score of 13-9. Women's tennis also won over the weekend at Lafayette, 6-1. Well, thank you all so much for tuning in to MCTV Sports. My name is Andrea Fresley, and now back to the program.
For the first time in its 130-year history, the president of Harvard Law Review is a black woman. Ameme Umana, the daughter of Nigerian immigrants, was elected by the Review's 92 student editors. She was chosen from 12 candidates, which included a mix of minority and female students. Women were first allowed into Harvard Law School in 1950, and the first woman to be president of the Review, Susan Estrich, was elected in the 70s. The first black president 27 years ago was none other than Barack Obama. The purpose of the Harvard Law Review is to give legal students an outlet to develop their writing skills and examine arguments. It is the most circulated population of its kind worldwide.
Former Harry Potter star Emma Watson has taken over Instagram with her new fashion account, The Press Tour. The actress, along with her stylist, posts all the outfits she wears on her current press tour to promote her new movie. Watson's captions always include why she chose her ensemble, with reasons ranging from not using any animal products to zero-waste factories. Her goal is to always promote being sustainable and eco-friendly. She's giving environment and fashion lovers alike new reasons to wear brands such as Stella McCartney and Louis Vuitton.
In case you missed it, MCTV put on a production of the musical Cabaret last week. The show received great reception from audiences, as the seats in El Galletti Theater were nearly sold out. Cabaret starred Brian Bocanegra as the MC, Quincy Brown as Clifford Bradshaw, Eddie Lee as Harris Schultz, Liana Fresca as Fraulein Schneider, and Mina Busquetto as Sally Bowles. The actors truly embraced their roles, from the spot-on German accents, outrageous choreography, and the bone-chilling finale. Cabaret kept audiences in tights. Congratulations to the director Matt Andrews, the cast and crew of Cabaret. In the end, their hard work really paid off.
From the stage to the big screen, we have Ben Ward here with a full review of last night's Oscars, followed by Jamie Caniglia with this week's What the Fox.
What the?
Hello everybody, my name is Ben Ward. This has been a very interesting week in entertainment with last night's Oscar Awards ceremony. The 89th Annual Oscar Awards got pretty political, with host Jimmy Kimmel calling out Donald Trump by name on several occasions and even tweeting at him twice. Once asking if he was awake due to the fact that he had not tweeted about the Oscars yet, and again with the hashtag #MerylSaysHi. Meanwhile, OJ in America took home the Oscar for Best Documentary Feature, and La La Land's City of Stars took home the Best Original Song Oscar, keeping Lin-Manuel Miranda from becoming the youngest person ever to win an EGOT, Emmy, Grammy, Oscar, Tony Awards. This Oscars also marked the first for films from online networks. Manchester by the Sea, produced by Amazon, was nominated for 6 Oscars and took home 2, while The White Helmets, a Netflix documentary short subject film, won an Oscar as well. Mahershala Ali and Viola Davis took home Best Supporting Actor and Best Supporting Actress awards respectively for their incredible performances in Moonlight and Fences, both nominated for Best Picture, as well as Lion and Hidden Figures, bringing some much-needed diversity to the Oscars this year. Hopefully, after this year, the Oscars So White hashtag will be a thing of the past, as the Academy is working towards recognizing more diversity in films and becoming more diverse themselves. Damien Chazelle made Oscars history by becoming the youngest person ever to win Best Director at the age of 32. While his first film, Whiplash, was nominated for Best Picture in 2015, this was Chazelle's first Best Director Oscar nomination, beating out Barry Jenkins, Mel Gibson, Kenneth Lonergan, and Denis Villeneuve. However, the biggest part of the night was controversy over the announcement of this year's Best Picture. Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty announced the winner to be La La Land, to not much surprise, until it was discovered that the Best Picture card had been accidentally replaced with Best Actress, La La Land's Emma Stone. Barry Jenkins' Moonlight had actually won in one of the most surprising turnarounds in Oscars history. Favorite La La Land, being seemingly given the Oscar and then having it taken away, was met with much disappointment and upset. However, Moonlight's win marks a huge milestone for African American and LGBTQ+ representation in film and acceptance by filmmakers and the Academy. In the end, Moonlight took home 3 of its 8 nominations, and La La Land took home 6 of its record-tying 14 nominations this year. In other entertainment news, Ed Sheeran's Shape of You, off his highly anticipated 3rd album, Divide, is becoming very popular. This is Sheeran's first album in 3 years, and Atlanta rapper Future released a 17-track self-titled album on February 17th, and then 1 week later released another 17-track album titled Hendrix, with rumor of another album arriving in a few weeks' time, an ambitious start to the 2017 rap scene. That's it for This Week in Entertainment. I'm Ben Ward. I hope you have a great week.
Hello everyone, I'm Jamie Caniglia, and this is What the Fox. Today I'm starting off with a question aimed directly at Marist. Why don't more students attend sporting events? I will admit I am also guilty of not going to many games. However, I did go to the final Marist women's basketball game of the regular season on Sunday. Originally I went because I had to film it for a class, but once I was there, I really enjoyed it. I stayed for the whole game. It was senior day, and they honored not only the seniors on the team, but also in the band, the cheerleaders, and the dance team. There was also an appearance from President Yellen and his wife Leslie, who were guest coaches at the game. Although there are not many Marist students, a lot of people from the community come, old, young, and everywhere in between. As I sat in a very empty student section, I was saddened by how few of my peers were there. Granted, some of our sports teams are not great, football, but women's basketball is good and fairly consistent too. I know I'm part of the problem, but how do we fix it? I mean, the band cheers the most, yelling, "Defense!" and counting down the shot clock. They have inspired me to be a more involved fan. There were back-to-back basketball games last Thursday, but I don't blame anyone for not going when it was 70 degrees outside in Poughkeepsie in February. 2 weeks before, we had a snow day with a foot of snow. I mean, I'm not complaining. I'm not a fan of the snow or the cold, but I am a bit concerned about global warming. Despite the melting polar ice caps, my friends and I enjoyed the warm weather with some food down by the river. We weren't the only ones with that great idea. There were a ton of people down there. People were in shorts. It was warmer here than it was in Australia. It's summer in Australia. Guess Punxsutawney Phil was wrong, and it's gonna be an early spring. Oh wait, I'm sorry, it might snow on Friday. Well, that's all I have for this week's What the Fox. I'm Jamie Caniglia, and please remember to layer because who knows what's happening with this weather.
This week, we rewind to the cell phones of the past with Nokia's announcement of its revival of the Nokia 3310. The original is remembered for its popularity and sturdiness. The phone with a mass amount of nostalgia, the new release is not a smartphone but a feature phone with limited internet facilities. The Nokia 3310 allows web browsing but has a limited app variety and only 2-megapixel camera. Despite its restrictions, the phone offers a 22-hour battery life and a modern version of the classic game Snake.
There's a growing trend in New Zealand among retirees who are getting together with friends and building coffins for themselves, loved ones, and for charity. The first coffin club was started in 2010 by Katie Williams, a palliative care nurse. Since then, other clubs have come about. Among those are Hawke's Bay, DIY Coffin Club, and Kiwi Coffin Club, Rotorua. Not only are the coffin kits cheaper than what an undertaker would typically charge, but many members also say the club gives retired people something practical to do in a fun and social setting.
That's all we've got for you tonight, but be sure to tune with us next time.
And from everyone at MCTV, we hope you have a fun and safe spring break. Good night.